already in by 13. By 13, I didn't care no more. I didn't care about nothing. I remember I would play with toys. I was like 7 years old, and I would get hit because I played with toys. They would tell me you can't be playing with toys. You gotta go to the streets and be a man and stuff. Whatever that meant back then. And my grandpa's a gang member. My uncles. I got one of the biggest families in the neighborhood that's all gang. I just grew into it. I followed in everybody else's footsteps.
My name is Kevin Velez, and I am a pastry commis, and I work at Homeboy Industries Bakery. What I do is I laminate dough. I mix it in the morning, then I laminate it, I get my butter, I laminate it, I run it through the machines, and I shape. In life, if you have something that every day you could wake up to, you know, and that you look forward to, and you go to sleep and you're like, all right, tomorrow I have this little plan, I think, you know, it helps you grow.
Well, we started a bakery because, you know, there was a bakery abandoned across the street from the church. It seemed like an idea that had some appeal. It certainly did to the funder who bankrolled it. You know, the idea of enemy gang members wearing hairnets, baking bread together. It's always dicey at first, you know, and they'll always say things like, I'll work with them, but I'm not going to talk to them, you know. But it's impossible for human beings to demonize folks they know. You can't really sustain that. That always breaks down, no exceptions.
Me and Javier, we used to be rival gang members on the streets. Our two neighborhoods did not get along. We'd be trying to kill each other, jump each other, anything when we seen each other pretty much on sight. But now we're here in the bakery. We work side by side. We clown around with each other. We go have lunch with each other. We do all of those things with each other we normally wouldn't do.
I grew up around a lot of child abuse. You know, I was always child abused by my mom and stuff. As I got older, they changed a lot, but I still had a lot of hate towards them. And I have a lot of hate towards my grandparents too. I don't know, I grew up a very mean kid. Always a bully, bullying people, always like taking stuff from people. And once I started getting like 13, I started doing robberies, started doing drugs, drinking. I don't know, I just became a very ruthless person.
It's about a lethal absence of hope. It's about kids who are damaged and traumatized. It's about mental illness. Those are the reasons why kids join gangs. They're never seeking anything. They're always fleeing something, either their despair or their trauma or the mental illness that plagues them.
If you raise a child up and you give him and you embed in his mind that he can achieve anything, he'll be anybody, he can do anything that he wants in the world as long as he applies himself to, well, that kid's gonna fulfill that because he believes it, because he's been embedded since birth that he can do those things. Well, it's the same thing with kids that are raised in poverty, right? They have domestic violence situations that they're going through, or alcoholic or drug addicted parents, and so they're raised up and they're told that they're just like their father, single parent home, and they're just like their parents. They're never going to amount to nothing. They're never going to be nobody. And so what happens is that a child starts embedding those things. It's ingrained in his mindset that he starts believing that realistically that can never be for him. That, you know, he's never going to be able to acquire any of those successes. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And so it's not really a choice at all in the end. People want it to be, because then I didn't choose to join a gang, and so then you strike a high moral distance between us and them without being able to stand in awe at what these folks have had to carry, rather than stand in judgment at how they carry it. And our program doesn't exist for people who need help. It's only for those who want it. So they have to walk through the door, which is an amazing act of courage.
You know, what we do here at Homeboys, right, it's kind of like baking bread, right? And everything has a process, right? When you make bread, someone's mixing, someone's on the table, someone's making the bread, and then it has to be fermented for a certain amount of period before it's baked off, and then you get the end result. And it's kind of very similar when it comes out to people that come through our process in our program, right? It's an 18-month program, but people come in here at different places in their lives, right? And so we have to kind of mold them and hold them and kind of make sure that we may have to add a little bit more of this or add a little bit more of that to make sure that at the end you get the essence of who each individual is, to make sure when the end product presents itself, it's at the best of its ability.
To me, it's having that feel that dough, to put the right amount of yeast in or the right amount of starter in, you know. With Homeboy, I think it's the way you nurture the people, the way they're taught. If everybody just saw who they are and what they are, they'd have a different opinion. You know, it's not just what's on the outside, it's what's inside.
What if we were to invest in people rather than futilely seeking to incarcerate our way out of this problem? So you want to change how people see things. We want everybody to move beyond the mind they have when it comes to this population. Because we're working with heavily tattooed, formerly involved gang members and felons, it's a tough sell, but it's a good bet.
They're good guys. I love every one of them.